have no leaders but looter. Zimbabwe corruption is madness. I remain one blow, Mr. Blow, as I blow the corruption. Mutilation for my generation. Hear me now. Shout out to Raspi. We have a mafia government in Zimbabwe. We have no rights in Zimbabwe because the police and them soldiers are corruption. See, we have no ministers in Zimbabwe because they appoint their sons and girlfriends. Mama, corruption. The police is brutal, the military is volatile. See, corruption. Every corruption in Zimbabwe. Hear me now. How can a whole nation with ministers lost 15 billion? Zimbabwe is funny, the diamonds were given to Chinese in exchange for cheese. What about their Zimbabwe? Yeah. Corruption, 3 airplanes went missing. Mugabe and his in-laws some were dishing. Let's talk about weak, no solar and hospital plus goats. The minister and president lie under oath. They injected Morgan and silenced the revolution. I cry corruption. They paid Nelson and stole the election. The nation left in confusion. Mr. Wamblo, I say it's corruption. Big up to you, one boy. This nation is rotten. We need a revolution. And youth on a mission. Say no to corruption. I'm about to cry now. Prophets and pastors lie for cash cars from Wicknell. We have fake socialite and ass-licking musicians, you just praiser. Preacher, try more. Walter Magaya and you pastor Yan. Poverty makes us brainless, calling looters boss and praising corrupt military. Why do journalists fear? Big up Hopewell and blessed salute out and Soul TV. What happened to General Solomon, Air Marshal Terence Sherry, Minister SB Moyo? Where is Walter Muzembe? Don't forget more blessing Ali. This government mama is corrupt and bloodthirsty. No to clueless government, sex for Mr. Appointments. No to gold mafia. Even you, Prophet Angel, you a criminal. We have a mafia government in Zimbabwe. We have no rights in Zimbabwe because the police and them soldiers were corruption. See, we have no ministers in Zimbabwe because they appoint their sons and girlfriends. Mama, corruption. The police is brutal, the military is volatile. See, corruption. Every corruption in Zimbabwe.
In the early hours of this morning, around 12:14, there was a press, or there is a presser. I don't know if they've been given, the go ahead now. I'm still waiting to find out if they've been given the go ahead now. But the venue where the presser was supposed to be held, it was gutted with fire. It is being said that it's an arson attack, a terrorist attack. Is they are putting it across, and I mean, we condemn that. No sane Zimbabwean should be okay with that, or even try to play politics. I see vamwe vanogaira sana Rutendo Benson handizo ibomandaza azvipisira building yake. Seriously, kuzvipisira venyu hanzi kuti again political mileage. What political mileage would he gain by destroying his own property? What can be gained destroying his own property? Could we agree? Could we are going to be having this meeting and they destroy their own property? Come on, guys. Also. I know Kutizo people might want to spin this. Even though I know Samanye, wait until my investigations are it, but they're the ones who are rushing to give us narratives here. The police are there. I've even seen, the army is there. Is it the reporting of the police that this was an inside job? Is it their reporting? that Ibo Mandaza actually torched his own place to gain political mileage. What political mileage? It was just a press conference where a group of Zimbabweans were going to be responding to what they think about the 2030 agenda. Because that agenda is not a Zimbabwean agenda, it's a ZANU PF agenda. So it would make sense that there are people, who are opposed to that agenda, who are not members of ZANU PF. What does the agenda say? The agenda say they want to see Emerson Mnangagwa in power until 2030 and make moves to amend the constitution to make that happen. Isn't it that is the agenda? Where do people then come in? People actually come in when it comes to the issues to deal with the constitution. This is where people are coming in. Yes, it was your agenda as ZANU PF. When you passed it as a resolution in your conference, it was your agenda as ZANU PF, which is fine and fair. I've got no qualms with that. I've got no problem with that because Zomba menu. But when you bring in things like the constitution now, it becomes everybody's agenda, including those who are opposing that idea. But the way that you want to do this, or the way that you want to go about this, mutilating the Zimbabwean constitution for the benefit of one individual, it's not that we can idly, we can idly just watch. We can be on the sidelines, just watch you guys do whatever it is that you want to do uh, with the press conference. I mean, with the agenda. So it was expected that you would get people reacting to what is coming out, especially where we have got freedom of association and we've got all the freedoms that are given to us by the constitution to not just agree or to or to make a stand when you don't agree with something. And so that happened. I mean, they organized the oppressor in the early hours of the morning. It is gutted by fire, and the police are now there, which means an investigation is to be undertaken. And when you know that the investigation is to be, when you know that they have to do what they are supposed to be doing, because if indeed it was petrol bombed or it was whatever, they need to get to the bottom of that. And by so doing, because if it is reported, as it is being reported that the guard was even abducted, so it means now it becomes a crime scene, and the police have got the right, to cordon it off as they undertake, their investigation. But then again, when you look at that, you would think that it was a calculated move. Why? Because today Emerson Mnangagwa is doing his Sona thing. And it was at the same time, or probably it was an issue of no, the attention has to be on me, and the attention doesn't have to be divided. So probably somebody was sent to do the deed. But still, that doesn't change anything. because the attention is still there. If indeed that is what happened, the attention is still there. Oh, they've destroyed, this place. And it is now international news. And I'm being told in Bulawayo, they're blocking, the venue. They're doing all they want to do to stop whatever it is that these progressive forces needed to say. So this marks of I don't know. I don't know really. If whatever it is that they want to do, kana zvine utsvene mukati. Why are we seeing these things, happening? Why? Uh, Rosie Prince, what request Mike is really saying?
Angujits, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
I'm I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's said what happened. Um, uh, I remember very well. Though a few days when you hold a similar space about this presser. I raised the question in how are they going to really do things differently? Because this has always been the trend, and um, it, it has been known anything that comes head on against it, they preempt, they try always to preempt it just like that. And most likely also the other trends that we had seen is a journalist who gives platforms to such events. They are they are harassed for the most uncommon uh, crime, treason, just like Shakaitwa Darabi for giving Geza platform. So, in as much as everyone is not happy about 2030, um, strategies have to be made beyond just publicly doing a presser like this where you yourself are inviting the journalists, because at the end of the day you're not going to find the same journalists at those places, because they will be threatened if they want to come to give you audience, or or you, a lot of things can happen. um eh, eh, where I'm trying to think is, since the in coming in of the new constitution in 2013, I'm trying to think, where has ZANU PF respected that constitution that we would expect them to respect the people exercising their right freely. against what they are pushing for? Yeah, it's a question that I ask myself. I'm not asking them because they're not here. I'm asking myself. I hope everyone who have got the same feeling with me of being against 2030 would still ask themselves, good, what can be done differently, and how can we approach? Because never in my knowledge of history have I understood, Kuti, you don't face a dictator head on, because a dictator doesn't think about anything else. They always think about how can I destroy the a threat to my power. Eh, eh, I don't want to go back in too much into history, but we have got a current copy that is even happening closer to us in Tanzania, where all oppositions are jailed and then I ran an election single-handedly. So the strategies have to be done to make sure that we do it the correct way. We may make noise for the world to know, but I don't remember much attention of the world powers or the other powers that can do anything giving attention to Africa that much. You know, attention is given kunana Middle East uko kunorohwa zvemaballistic, kunoitwa hondo, vanhu vari kumba kwavo vakarara mumablankets. Isusu kunoku kune Africa zvinongodzi kwaAfrica kune hondo ndizvozvo, no one even gives attention to it. Probably even when blood is spilled in the streets, inotofanira kutoita quite a sizable number for them to awaken kuti okay, kuAfrica kwaita hondo. So what can we do is the question. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, for that. I'm just learning that the information that I'm getting. I'm just learning that the venue has been blocked, the sepsis venue, because it is now a crime scene, obviously. So they've blocked that venue, and then people have been asked not, to to go there anymore, because apparently that would contaminate, the crime scene. So they found a new place. And I'm being told that the police have cordoned off, that new place again. So they are being stopped from conducting, their press conference at the new place that they had gone to. So I mean, when you're looking at this, they are just doing everything, that they can to try and stop this, from happening. They are doing everything that they can to try and stop this, from happening. You know what these guys got? What number one. Yeah, but that is, the update, that is coming through. That yeah, that the venue, the Sepsis Trust venue, now a crime scene, and the conveners were dispersed. And the police now, they went to the second venue in Mount Pleasant, and they've surrounded, that place as well. So yeah, so they're doing everything in their power to stop this, from happening. So that is what is coming through. I've seen Change Radio. They are running with the report that um, the one in Bulawayo has also been cordoned off, and they are being stopped by the police from doing the oppressor. Which is sad, really. I mean, because uh, um if you consider what we're up against, as a people, and the response that is coming out, you can see that there's a spirited effort on their part to make sure that there is no opposition to whatever it is that they've planned, for us as Zimbabweans. Um, in terms of the opposition itself, they made sure that they destroyed the opposition, created their own opposition, because I mean, the opposition that is there in parliament, we don't need any second guesses to find out, where they stand, on this. We heard Tabangu, saying it, himself, that they will support the 23rd agenda. They will support Emerson Mnangagwa's continuance. So on that side, in terms of the parliament, we know it is a foregone conclusion. We know Kuti, that one day, you know, they th- they did what they needed to do, and they neutralized that side. So the only side that is left is the side of the citizens, the Zimbabwean people, themselves, those who are opposed, to this. Because I need people, to get this right. I need people to get, this understanding that the 2030 agenda is a ZANU PF agenda. It is their agenda, right? But to fulfill that agenda, certain pieces needs to be moved. Certain pieces needs to be moved, and they are moving those pieces. They started moving these pieces from a while ago, and that involved having a character like Chabangu in place, neutralizing the opposition in parliament. So that's a piece that was moved, and they know with that piece that they moved, they can introduce any bill in parliament, and that bill will garner 2/3 majority. It will just sail through because the numbers are not there for the opposition to push back against this in parliament. The numbers are not there. They don't have the numbers. I don't know how many of those folks in that Augusta House that I can say, okay, we've got opposition. Maybe the likes of Agents Gumbo and a few of them. You can literally count them, and the rest are siding, with the establishment. So that side. They did what they needed to do with that side. It is a ZANU PF agenda. They agreed on that agenda. It is the resolution of their conference, right? The same thing, they tried to do in 2006. In 2006, they sought to push a similar resolution to get Mugabe to go beyond his term, because the election was supposed to be coming in 2008, but they wanted to push it for Mugabe's election, or for the presidential election, to be 2 years later. And they actually created a similar situation like the one that we have now, back in 2006, because they knew that their support was at an all-time low, and it had been for a minute. What did they need to do? Robert Mugabe, sensing defeat. Robert Mugabe smelling defeat. His people decided to say we can create a 2-year hiatus for him, so that the election, instead of him facing an election in 2008, he would face an election in 2010, giving him a 2-year reprieve. But of course, he faced opposition from within, from within, from within. He faced that idea, faced opposition, from within, and all the democratic forces were against that. But much of the opposition was coming, from within. So this is where, yesterday I was talking about convergence of idea, or of minds that are that are of the same, idea, to say Kutizo no to 2030. Because opposition from this does not only mean the opposition is opposition forces, but opposition even within is still opposition. And that was stopped. And we ended up having, but this time around, maybe it's lessons, from yesterday. They've taken the lessons from the previous years, or from what they needed to do in 2006, and probably have perfected that. But in order for them to triumph, they need to move certain pieces. And they're doing that. And as I was saying with yesterday, the agenda is real. And the amendments are coming. This time they are coming. The last time they did not go past the Politburo of ZANU-PF. This time around, they've gone past that. And everyone in that party, hook, line, and sinker, those who think they're in the majority in that party, hook, line, and sinker, they are gone. Vakatodyira. And now they are now going, their next assault is in parliament. And that is a done deal already. So I am saying it is now up to the citizens. It is now up to the people of Zimbabwe, those that are saying no to this thing, to stand up and be counted. But it's never going to be easy. With everything that we have seen in Zimbabwe, it's never easy, ladies and gentlemen. It's never going to be easy. And what happened in the SAPES Trust venue is an example. And what has happened in Bulawayo is an example of how this is never going to be easy. But we should not be deterred. Just imagine that venue, got gutted. They declared a crime scene. They asked the conveners not to come there anymore because it is now a crime scene. The conveners determined to do their press conference, find another place to say, okay, fine, this we can't use, but we are going to go to another private residence where we are going to conduct our press conference, and the police have surrounded, the venue. So it is those things that we are going to be facing as a people, because it's not going to be easy. There are no two ways about it. There are no two ways about that. It's never going to be easy, but it has to be done. find other ways of reaching out to the others. This is the time for these guys to utilize social media. Let's utilize social media as one of those methods, and let's see how they're going to be dispersing us. Takaungana ba social media. Unless kana vachinge vakuda kuti bhaga vada kuita sei vanoita sei. But if one akavarwa, the next one must rise up. Right. Mkoba Nkosilata, how you doing?
Good afternoon, Mkoma Jets. How are
Good
you?
afternoon. And zuro ndakazokoma Nkosilati mkoma ndofunga makamara mkoma ndikati apa kaipa.
Ndakazorara plus unongozwa nyaya yekuti unenge wasvikawo padheni waneta wakumboita zvemhuri, looking
Yeah.
after the kids and the missus and all. Yeah,
No, I
so
hear
I
you.
had to switch my mic. But I listened all the way until about 12 midnight. My wife ndo akatozongonditi shamwari tauda urara isu.
Ah, shit.
But it's fine. But as a continuation, Mukoma Jeds is zvataingotaura nezuro kuti ZANU PF, its antics anditika, are always about being a scarecrow yekuti Makudo anenge achingoona kuti pane munhu apa, but yet pasina munhu. And the minute Makudo paanoita zvivindi zvekupinda mumunda, munda unodyiwa wese. Those are the antics dzezano, dzekuti vanenge vachitodaro intimidation and what. These are ma-antics ekuti they have been there in the books dzepolitics from time immemorial. They are not using anything chiri unique to them. And us as the recent generation ichiri kunzwa, we have to know kuti no, zvinhu zvakamboshanda kumashure, but we can't be defeated with the same antics now and again. Them blocking my pressers and all know that itori information dissemination yavasiri kuda kuti isvike kuvanhu, because information iyoyo ikasvika kuvanhu tinenge tavaita disarm. Information iyoyo ikasvika kuvanhu yekunzwa raiti our constitution handitika is being molested, ngatiitei izvi neizvi neizvi to avoid this. Havazvidi. These guys, they had their plan from the onset, hence chavanga, because vaiziva kuti for their plan kuti iite through vanofanira kuwana 2/3 majority muparliament for it to see the light of the day. And hapana, like you were saying, it has passed the politburo, chakutoenda kuparliament, chaenda kuparliament, already they've got 2/3 majority. Whatever they want, they have it kuparliament ikoko in place. Zvaitaurwa naTendai Biti kuti tazodai pareferendum ndo patichapedzerana ipapo. They've always rigged these elections. So what can stop them from rigging a referendum? They can give you what you want. Kuti taita everything by the constitution, by the book. Taenda kureferendum, taiwina referendum yacho. So everyone is saying 2030 ndikoko. What needs to be done here, Uncle Jed, is, to be honest, I was talking to, I will not disclose Zita, like a friend of mine who is now a successful business person in Zimbabwe fortunately akangoita maneuver his way, but he was telling me there's no success without sacrifice. And on his page social media akambonyora kuti even heaven required death for humanity to be saved. So isusu, who are we to be scared kuti pa 100 pedu panofa 10 for the sake of the future generation? Because ivo they are rising and riding on the fact yekuti takakuenderai kuhondo, takaifira nyika inoi, takadai. It's high time isusu, our generation, we do that for the betterment of our children. Kwete kuti tinoramba tiri in a cocoon yekuti zvikazodai tinonzwai, zvikazodai will be oppressed, zvikazodai mapurisa anodai. They are utilizing or they are misusing what is there at their disposal. But what they cannot misuse is a citizen's voice. A citizen's voice of saying, no, enough is enough. This is where we draw the line in the sand. Pakutongoda ushingi apango jedzi. Hapana. Parutongoda ushingi wekuti totongozviudza kuti kusiri kufa ndekupi, because situation iri ango jedzi, I'll say this. About a year ago, I would say my grandmother, but she's my grandmother from my wife's side. Vakazvara mai, vakazvara mukadzi wangu ameno kana maunderstand. Vakarwara kumusha uku, kulowa gweru uku. And I had to go and take her ikoko. The minute yandakasvika kwavari, notion was, kana uchida kundiendesa kugeneral hospital kuti ndinofira ikoko, gara wandisiya ndifire pamba pangu. This is how bad the situation is in Zimbabwe. Could a person who is now almost 86, 88 years old anokudza kuti ndisiye ndifire pamba pangu? To an extent that you have to convince her kuti no, ndiri kukuendesai private doctor. Private kwacho kuti munonobudisa mari dzakawanda dzekuti pamwe dzimwe munenge muine maplans nadzo, mafuture plans, pamwe muri kuvaka, pamwe mune maprojects, pamwe muri kuda kuexpanda whatever you are doing in life. But you ought to channel that just to save a life. Yet healthcare yedu inonzi is free for people who are 60 and above. But nothing is coming. The health system is rotten. Everything is rotten. The roads are dilapidated. Yekutoti uende unovatora ikoko, unogona kutoita breakdown muroad. Muine mapoto, muine chi musingafambi. Wotozobuda imwe mari futi yekuti udzoke ufambe. Nothing is functioning in this economy. They are living a fantasy or a lie to an extent yekuti psychology inotiudza kuti if you lie enough to people, you end up believing your lie yekuti things are okay. And these guys are now believing that lie they are telling us. The only way out, Ango Jeds, is a revolution from the people, is a standout from the people. The courts are not going to help us. The referendum is not going to help us. It's high time we put a no zvisati zvatosvika kure. Kana tichitofa ngatingofira vana vedu. Kune vanhu vanoti hanzi ndofirei, aiwa tiri kufira vana vedu. Because if we leave zvinhu zvakadai so, things are going to get worse than they are. And our children are going to suffer more than we are. So it's high time vanhu vaise pfungwa mumwoyo mavo yekusava selfish kuti ndofirei, ndiri kufira vana vangu, ndiri kufira vazukuru vangu. These are all antics dzezanu dzekubloka mapresa, dzekuti presa yacho yaenda to a private place, they storm the places, havadi kuti information isvike. And the worst that can happen is, like you said, they are going to bug us and what, but do they have the resources to bug everyone so that we spread this information? We educate each other. Kuti no, this is just a white elephant in the room. It's an illusion. ZANU-PF is at its weakest right now. That's why it's trying anything and everything in its book to stop the citizens. For now, Ndombo Mirapano Angojets.
Right. Do not end Mkoma. Thank you very much, for that. Kudzi Wells, how you doing?
Ndiri bo Mukoma Jeza muri sei?
Kungodaro kuku kaka todoti good
Yeah.
morning kana ari makuseni kana kuti good afternoon kana ava masikati.
Aiwa, no, tiri pamwe chete.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think patiri pakashata zvapo. That's the honest truth. Zviri kuitika izvi zviri kutongoshowa kuti izvo there's determination by ED that he won't be stopped nezvigananda zvake. Ndozvaari kuedza that's the message is showing. Asi ndiri kufunga kuti I'm in agreement nemunotaura abva kutaura kuti izvo referendum will not save us. Zvimwe zvinhu zvatingaite will not save us. We need a different approach kurwa ne-ED 2030 agenda. We need more than kungotaura. We need proper planning, organizing, mobilizing. Because this guy is so much determined nezvigananda. They are so much determined. They've had a plan for a long time. They've been financing it. They've been meeting. They've been organizing. So we need a different approach. If we are ever going to succeed, we really need a different approach. Mukada kutarisa even iyo agenda yacho mataurirwo yakaitwa kuconference yavo yeZANU-PF. Hapana kana vanhu vakambopuwa mukana wekuti vavhotere. Munhu anongozosunga kuti hapana anoopposa zvatataura. That's not a democratic way. Even constitution now handifunga kuti ndo zvainotaura kuti maresolutions anofanira achivhotwa that way. So that tells kuti this guy and his people, they've been planning on this for a long time, and they want to see it through, and they will see it through unless and otherwise we as the people come together and strategize differently. Zvimapresa conference zvakanaka, but I think maybe it's way too late at the moment. We need a different approach. I think as Zimbabweans, takawanda tisiri kufarira zvaED 2030. The only thing we need to do is to find each other and strengthen each other, mobilize one another, and we can get it done. Even under those threats, zvirikupisirwa dzimba zvaitwa Mukoma kuhafiridza, it's really sad. Even the place here, Mr. Ibo Mandaza, it's really sad what has happened. And I don't. Yeah, pane part of the ED and ED 2030 episode wemba.
Seriously?
Yeah, Ari Banons Antana bees, is something, is it Bugeg or something like that?
And we want to.
Yes, one opal Pangipa, but we guys. No, well, yeah. So we need more than what we've ever done before. And we also need each other. I don't know how we can find each other. Zvinoita also kunge as if when we were saying Kutizo, Geza maybe was a starting point for us to be able to deal in ZANU-PF. or Namnangagwa. Maybe maybe that was right. Because fighting ZANU-PF outside is going to be very difficult. That we already know. It's not something new. We already know that. But what do we do? Where do we go from here? I think we just need each other. Possibly as well, Pantodama blade lines of trust. Because at the moment, I think the people who have got the trusted leadership in opposition, they are divided. For example, Ngibiti na Chamisa, they are most likely not to be able to work together. There's an element of trust that we suspect lacks. We need that to be bleached. Breach, I think that will help. Otherwise, the elephant we are fighting is really strong and organized, even though it's one elephant. But it organized in my resources as well. So we need to think and probably mobilize better than we ever done before. We really need to go back and unite ourselves, plan properly, and maybe start something new that has never been done before. I don't know how that's going to happen. For as long as Tichaita is the same usual thing, the same usual approach, I don't think that will work. I don't think it will be sufficient enough. But otherwise, at the moment, we need each other, despite our party affiliations. I think we need each other more than ever before. Maybe that will help us. I don't know. That's my own 2 cents.
All right.
Moderator, thank you.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate Mkoma. Thank you very much for your contribution. Regarding Zogu Wangwano Tochi. Mkoma Tatenda, good morning. How you doing?
Morning, Uncle Gerard. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. How is it going?
Uncle Gerard. What has happened today is something that we have to anticipate each and every day, and it's something that we have to build a thick skin to able to counter and fight. Where we are, Uncle Gerard, and my fellow brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe and the world, we are at a state whereby gentlemen politics are no longer the path that we need to take. When you meet a lion or an elephant, you cannot be gentle to it because it's not soft. Casualties are part of any struggle. Vanhu votombokangana nyaya yekuda kuti ndinosiya vana vangu, vanhu vakaenda kuhondo, like what the previous speakers have said, sacrifices were made. Threats to life are going to be increased. And those threats to life, they should be also a pivotal tool to encourage us to resist, because we want to remove that such form of politics that uses threats to life, violence, manipulation, corruption, deception, and all, which is the order of the day that we have experienced as a country for 45 years. It's so unfortunate that we still have got ourselves as Zimbabweans. We have people that are afraid even to use their social media. When you cannot gather, use your social media. Use even names that are not your names to communicate, because we need to fight. The struggle needs to continue. We cannot have a struggle that will be curtailed short-sightedly or prematurely. We cannot have a struggle in opera premature when we have got a deep-seated problem. We are having a very, very, very deep-seated problem in a trajectory are dangerous for everyone, be those who are home and who are in the diaspora. Vanhu vane makambani handiti yawe kuti makambani enyu mofanirwa maita re-register. Vanhu vane dzimba Are you aware kuti matitle deeds enyu mofanirwa kuvaita digitalized? Kana vachikwanisa kubirana dzimba dzema 500,000 US dollars and so, what stops them to steal from you? What stops them from taking land from you? Vachipa machina zvavari kuita, vachibvisira mbuya venyu musha wavagara, musha wemageneration for generation. Vakadzi vekuZimbabwe, ana mai, ndimi sometimes who can direct men into the right spots. Itai basa renyu. Kana ana baba vachimbomira kuwachirwa, vachimbomira kubikirwa, kusvika mumba makutaurwa language inonzwisisika kuti baba vakutanga kuundastanda maaffairs of the country, nemwana ari kuhigh school akutanga kuitwa made aware of maissues ari munyika, mwana ari kucollege, nemwana akagraduate asina basa, nemwana ari kumuka achinotengesa mumusika. A language should start being preached, a different language than a language that was never preached. A language that resonates to the language that was preached in 1999, where people from different corners decided to say enough is enough, which is what our leaders or fellow citizens who were supposed to meet and do a presser wanted to do and to indulge with the citizenry. As who are here in these platforms, Uncle Gerard, I continue to remind people to say anything that has been done by Emerson Mnangagwa this year, he has been out of being a reaction to what we have been preaching. Dzingava nzira dzekunana Vic Falls dzakugadzirwa, kungava kunopendwa kwakaitwa kuparire nyato, chingava chipi. They may say hurumende haitongwe pasocial media, but if we are to put them there to say tinotika kuti chimuzochiita, it was us who put you in the spotlight because we were exposing you. ZBC and the Herald, they could not counter our intelligence of exposing, because now information is easy to disseminate. Ndiri mumba mangu inini, I'm enough to broadcast news dziri kuitika kuZimbabwe, ndapiwa information, and the rest of the world will see. So we need to utilize that. People vari mudiaspora, stop being timid. Vamwe tinawo mathreats akatouya, not even far away, Uncle Jared. Recently, kunzi even from family members, kuti you akutiisa on the line, you are writing A, B, C, and D, you are speaking about A, B, C, D. Are you even thinking of us? And what? Are you even thinking of your family? And what? But a struggle, Uncle Gerard, it's a risk that you have to embrace and take. Kuti amaina baba, kana ndafa musandicheme, ndindakazvida kusunungura Zimbabwe. Dziyo dzavaimba nayo vachienda kuhondo, ndodziyo dzatiri kufanira kuimba nawo. We need to embrace what is in front of us. Kuti as a people, we are more powerful and stronger than these people. Yes, their first weapon and tool yavanoshandisa every time will be the police and the rogue fuzz and chimwe chiri kulonchwa amai manje. But when time comes yekuti more numbers are now in the streets, they will have to use more force, which is the military. And I don't think the military guys are up to have a repeat of that 445 degrees. And actually, people in those barracks, they are fed up. They are just waiting for citizens to do a mass uprising for them to show the side they are aligning. Unlike the police are they are always the worst nightmare for Zimbabweans. But we can surpass that, because if we do the popcorn uprising, those people, they won't be able to stop what is coming for them. Where they can manage izvozvi zvekuti vari kuziva kuti muri kunosangana pakadai, so then they disrupt that. Vakaziva kuti tiri kunosangana paHarare Gardens or Harare pasquare or kupi kupi, they disrupted that. But zvinhu zvinenge zvisina kuti muri unosangana nevanhu apa zvaiitika kuna 1999 2000 2001 up to pavakazoita mashoti end 3 quarter and what. It was chaotic for them to control because zvanga zviri all over, zvaisiri in one
Right.
place.
Right.
So
Itatenda.
yeah.
Miran Bokata Kambishana. I just want to play this clip. Year press conference. They've managed to hold the press conference at another venue, but they did that with the police outside. I don't know whether the police were protecting them. I don't know. But let me just play this. It's I think I'm seeing there it's Agent Gumbo. Yeah, I think it's as Agent Gumbo, who is addressing. So I'll just play this kuti munzwe kuti what they said in that. Peacefully, lawfully, and in solidarity with all citizens. The liberation struggle was fought so that Zimbabweans could choose their leaders freely. Those who fell did not die for endless tenure. They died for self-government, for dignity, for a constitution that speaks for the people. To honor their sacrifice, we must now protect the constitution. This is not rebellion, it is responsibility. Fellow citizens, so-called 2030 agenda is not about development. It is about the extension of power in a nation already weaned from repression and inequality. Politically, it means an extension of authoritarianism, an extension of fear, an extension of opportunity, and an extension of injustice. That is the future we must fight against. We must remember, strong nations are not built by those who agree on everything, but by those who choose to work together despite their disagreements. The measure of our patriotism is not uniformity, but unity of purpose. The shared resolve to defend that which binds us together, the Constitution. In humility and in solidarity with the leaders gathered here today, I join hands with fellow citizens to build a common non-partisan platform for the defense of our Constitution. This is a people's initiative that belongs to no party and serves no individual interest. Right. So that is Agent Gumbo was addressing the presser a few minutes ago, and as you could hear from him there, that the sole purpose that they've gathered today is to make sure that they let me see if I can, yeah, is to make sure that we defend that constitution. So they are creating a vehicle, ladies and gentlemen, a non-partisan vehicle. And this vehicle is a vehicle that is geared towards standing against the mutilation of the constitution. Because, they believe, as much as some of us, believe, that this constitution has got nothing, and this amendment or extension of Emerson Mnangagwa's tenure has got nothing to do with the development of the nation. Nothing to do with that whatsoever. What 2 years? What difference is it going to make in terms of developing the livelihood of the Zimbabwean people, whose lives today, abantu kuti azakudevelopa today, and them being given whatever extension that they need. For how long have the Zimbabwean people been living in abject poverty in the way that they've been? For how long have we been in abject poverty? It shows Kuti, whatever it is that they want to do, it has got nothing to do with the people. And this is the rallying call. We cannot allow them to do things that benefit themselves or individuals or those who are connected. We must stand against that. So these are people, that are meeting from different walks of life, from different political persuasions, from the civic organizations, from the churches, student bodies. They're coming together to say, no, we cannot stand for this. We cannot allow this to happen without putting up a fight. So that is one video, that I've seen. If I see more videos, I will be playing them so that things were running a chichabuda ikoko. But that was Agents Gumbo. He was addressing, the press conference. But Mkomatin Atatenda, if you can come through and finish off, and then Dr. Dadini, come through.
Uncle Gerard, thank you. And I thank the resolute of the brothers and sisters who are in Zimbabwe. It is now a task for a twin task. It's a twin task for those on the ground and for us who are here. Conscientization and mass mobilization. We can start putting information through to the people through our platforms, Uncle Gerard. The messages that you post on your Facebook and here, it goes to the people on either WhatsApp or either way, YouTube. People are getting the message. We should not think that the message is not reaching out to the people. It's reaching out to the people. The people in the diaspora, I urge you, my brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, let's not be cowards because we are some sort in comfortable positions. It's not even nice because home is always the best. Everyone want to be home. We want to even visit our homes whenever we want, but we cannot visit home with a despotic government that we know that the moment we want to tell them that you are supposed to do things this way than what you are doing, you are now an enemy of the state, they will arrest you. Some of us, we have gone through this of being harassed every time that I travel to Zimbabwe. So it's not something new um, that people should be intimidated of doing. We are here. Yes, they are here in the diaspora. We know a lot of ZANU-PF people, they are here. They run away from that same problems that are home, but they come here and parade the ZANU-PF people as if ZANU-PF was doing good, they should have remained in Zimbabwe. But you find out they are here in UK, they are there in South Africa and everywhere, either as agents to monitor people, intimidate people, or so. But we should not be intimidated, especially if you are in a place where you can exercise your rights and freedoms. Use those tools. Yes, they may try to reach to your family, but the family cannot be victimized for your own sins. It's just a tool that they will use to intimidate, but aluta continua, the struggle should not stop. If they could not stop reggae when they went to Chimoyo and all until a negotiation was made with the Smith regime, then the reggae should continue now. We should not stop the reggae. Reggae music should continue. The struggle should continue. Thank you, Uncle Gerard. Thank you, Zimbabwe. Let's continue with the struggle. They can ban, they can intimidate us. We have heroes. Ana Judah Jongwe, Ana Tsangirai died fighting. And each generation, whether they die as victors or they die trying, but history doesn't forget them. History have no blank spaces. History always cover every event. Let's be covered for the positive things, not to be covered as cowards. Vanosekwa nema-South Africans and everyone, maZimbabweans, most makadzidza, but you are cowards. You are failing to remove a despotic government of old criminals who are rides behind kuti takakuenderai kuhondo. We need to take the baton. Pavakarisira, this is our generation. Chacheduwo chemurenga. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Right. Can I move on to Dr. Tadini whilst I prepare this next video? I'll just listen to it and see if the quality of the audio is okay, and then I'll play it. But in the meantime, Dr. Sadini, do you want to come through?
Yeah, Mkoma Gerard, how are you doing? And everyone else, I hope you're doing well. Um, Ndugu Nzuke, sorry, I'm just
Yes,
checking my
yes,
audio.
yes, yes, you're okay.
Right. All right, thank you very much. It's really very unfortunate, right? Ku Space. You know, we grew up teaching my lectures from Space, political awakening that comes from that place, and the conversations that happen there is something that is essential to the nation. Yes, some of the things that the organizers would say you might have disagreements and stuff like that, but it has been critical to the political education of our country, civic education, and many other aspects. So it's very sad that a regime has to go to that extent. They want to kill thought, mafungiro, to a point yekuti vanoputitsa an entire auditorium yekuti vanhu vangotaurirana chete havana zvavati vaita. It is said. But we have to ask ourselves kuti why have they gone to that extent? The first and obvious thing is an aspect of information. The less information that the citizens have, the less likely they are to act in any way that is going to benefit them. So they want a citizenry that is not informed. They want a citizenry that is under-equipped in terms of knowledge, what is happening in the nation, what is correct, what is accurate. They don't want that. They want to be the only source of information, and they will then tailor the information to suit their agendas. I'm sure here you've interacted with information that comes from ZANU-PF, and in certain instances, it is nothing close to reality. But if they can silence everyone else, that becomes the information of the day. So that was the first thing. It's a war against information. It's a war against an informed citizen. But most crucial is that they were stopping organization. And this is something that I'm very passionate about. And hopefully, some Zimbabweans here are also passionate about that. And at some point, they will begin to participate in organization. Kuungana kwaita different leaders from different political institutions, civic organizations, churches coming together to say we want to talk about the pending mutilation or the ongoing mutilation of the constitution. Kuri crucial. Crucial in the sense that is how an organization is born, or a larger organization is born. These are small organizations or representatives of small organizations that have come together and say, you know what is about to happen is not right. We can set aside our differences, then we fight this common monster. For the past months, I think I've been overemphasizing a process here. I was using the example of coagulation, or whilst I was talking about coalescing, coming together, major institutions. This is really crucial for every Zimbabwean here who is true to what they speak about to belong to an organization. And I said the reason why, no matter how small that organization is it is the one that is going to contribute to the larger organization that Zimbabweans are dreaming about. And this is what is being stopped by kumisa vanhu kuti musasangane musanhigini, because this will lead to the birth of that organization. My leaders aripo would have one question to answer, kuti kana tese tapa maspeech aya tapa ende tiri kuagreea kuti chinhu chakashata, why are we not therefore working together? I usually talk about it ndichishandisa example Mukoma Gerard yekuti imi mungamuka nhasi muchiti ndiri kudemonstrate against oppression iri kuitika mining industry musi wemande, inini ndoenda kunodemonstrata musi wetuesday, then tonzwa kuti Mukoma Titus vaenda musi wewednesday. It is only natural kuti titi musi wethursday ngatiendei tese tiri 3. So this is what they are stopping. Kuti pane different institutions kuti tiri kuexista in whatever form, weak or strong, to hold at the same position. And if the leaders can come together, what then happens is it becomes something bigger. So organization is what they are truly fighting. Ndogara ndichinzwa vanhu panapa vachiti, Zimbabweans need to connect. What is the next step? What are we supposed to do? You can only find the next step if you belong in some kind of organization. I'm going to give an example, Eguti. In this particular event that we're talking about, I got a call before the event happened, way before the event was organized. But no, we know that you belong to this institution. We would like this principal to also participate. Can the principal be there? Unfortunately, the principal was out of the country. And can someone else cover for the principal? And those arrangements were made. But why am I talking about this? Avaikwanisa kundifonera inini no influence by social media, nothing of that sort. Avaikwanisa kundifonera ndingori munhu kwandiri anongotaura nezvepolitics pasina any other institution that you can point to. So every Zimbabwean was asking, but how do we find each other? The easiest way to find each other is to belong and bolster all these small institutions. If you don't like their state, then participate in improving it into what you like. That way it is easier to connect. Kana tichingoramba tichitaura tiri panapa tichiita zvinhu zviri hypothetical kuti aiwa tinoconnecta, let's find each other, let's find each other, tisingaite put into practice what finding each other means, we're wasting time and we're being disingenuous. If you really want to be found by other Zimbabweans, go where they are congregating. And they are congregating in a lot of places. You might not like the congregation now because it is small or it is starting or because it has a lot of historical challenges, but you are the missing element to improve it. And the next time that people have to organize, vanenge vachizviziva kuti unobelonga apa, and they will reach out even when they have differences with you and you have had confrontations about those differences, as long as the principal idea is the same. Opposition mukatarisa kuti principal idea iri similar, we understand that for the past 45 years Zimbabweans have been under a very heavy yoke nenyaya yegovernment iri kutadza basa rayo. We all understand that, no matter what color we are wearing. We also understand that what the Zimbabwean common man and woman is seeking is the betterment of their life. That is the simple thing that you would distill all these different institutions into. Saka, you find where you can go, and once you do that, we need to find each other will happen naturally. I'm happy because of this gathering that was happening simultaneously in Bulawayo and Harare. It talks about that natural process of coalescing, that natural process of coagulation. And if you're not in an institution, yet you speak dearly about the advancement or betterment of Zimbabwe for the past 2 years, you're doing a disservice. If you don't like the institutions that are there, form yours so that tomorrow, the other conversations or the other actions that have to be taken, they know where to find you. They know that they can reach out to you, even Muri too. They know that they can reach out to you. That's how we find each other. Then the other thing, action. Mukoma Gerard, I'm going to check with you if I'm still connected. The security check because I can't
No, no, you're still here.
All right, thank you. So the other thing, the Tarazin one, it's a war against information. I emphasized on organization because I'm very passionate about it. And I think the answer for citizens here who constantly ask Kuti, to one and say, the answer has been given a million times. If you are not taking it up, it's because you are not genuine to the things that you're speaking about or the things that you say you want to see Zimbabwe become. Then the third thing that they are attacking, by attacking these different two events that wanted to happen, is action. Action that is independent of ZANU-PF. Zuro vanhu vaibvunza kuti, can we do something tega seZANU-PF? And people want to limit the action that citizens can take to only something that involves a ZANU-PF element, regardless of what that element is, whether it is the ED faction, imagined opposition to ED faction within ZANU-PF, whatever it is. People used to say that's the only way you can take action. But that has been disproved. Ndosaka vari kuataka iyi. It has been disproved because these men and women that have chosen to gather and the others that are behind the curtain have said we can make our own action. Answering a question or disproving another fallacy that we constantly talk about here, but we can only take action within the confines of ZANU-PF. No. No matter how small the action is, some people might perceive kuti kungotanga nekuungana nekuti toda kutaura is not sufficient. Yet isusu panapa takaungana tiri kungotaura. It is a critical step. It is a critical step in whatever is going to follow. My minds are anima different ideas after that conversation. We'll shake hands and say, what are we going to pursue next? It is an inevitable question. After magara pamberi pema mic mapedza kuita ma interview, for any reasonable person, the next question is, what am I going to do next? If I've had hours of talking, what am I going to do next? So the other aspect that is strongly being attacked here is action. And I think it is a crucial lesson kwatiri semazimbabweans kuti tinzwisise kuti we have to take the next leap. We have to take actions and participate. We definitely have to do that. They don't want that. They want the mentality that we have been in for the past 3 years, which is the waiting game. Mukatarisa pane chinhu chese chataikwanisa kumukira, what we have been constantly told is that we have to wait for something, wait for someone, wait for a certain signal or something of that sort. This is different. It attacks the element ekuti don't wait, because in your waiting you are giving your opponent time. Izvezvi mukaona vanhu vasvika pakuti vanokwanisa kuorganize to a point yekuputitsa a lecture hall, it means that they have been organizing for years. They were not waiting. They've been taking actions for years. Mukaona vanhu vachipa, I liked what the other comedian in Zimbabwe did, skit rake recent. Achiti aiwa mazimbabweans ari kuona kunge mota dziri kupiwa random. They are not being given at random. They are being given to someone who matters to the community, no matter how small. And I think the most recent example is comic elder. Mukazoona zvaakanoita after apiwa mota ovhaenda kubhikita, you'd understand why he got a car. You'd understand why he got a car and how that feeds into the ultimate agenda yevanhu vamuri kurwisana now. However, the point I want to emphasize on this one is we cannot continue to wait. We cannot continue to wait. We have to participate in different elements. We have to coagulate. We cannot continue to wait. And this is something to prove to us that there is a lot that we can do. It also brings in the harsh element, yekuti there are going to be consequences to those actions. And I have to speak to that. It is a reality. We have family members that have died. We have people that will be threatened because of standing for your constitution. It is unfortunate that that is the ultimate price of freedom. And you as a Zimbabwean cannot set for yourself the price of freedom. Kana pane chinhu chinonzi free market yemashuwa isina munhu anokwanisa kuiregulate, chinhu chinonzi freedom. Freedom will set its own price, and that price would be paid in its liters in blood. That is unfortunate, but that is the reality of life. And we have to ask ourselves, do we want to continuously lose blood mune health sector isiri kushanda, mune failed economies, mune dreams are squatted by poor representation yevana or social welfare yevana that is happening in our country? Do we want to continue to lose life in that slow and draining way, or we are going to pay the ultimate price? Take the risk that has been presented, and whatever happens, happens. Zvimwe zvacho you cannot predict. It is beyond us. It is to something else that is greater than us. We cannot predict that outcome. But at least we would have done what needs to be done. So probably an undeniable risk. But, you have to pay the price. All of us have to pay the price. We don't even know who will pay the price, you see. And while ndiri pane issue futi I think Tambotaura's organization, but I wanted to touch also on why your participation is important. Game is a numbers game, not only because when you think of an election, no, even when you think about just resisting, because no election is going to work here. I'm glad Pani brother Watudza an obvious thing, but I think it needs to be said. Zimbabweans will think that a referendum will work, yet a national election doesn't work. Yet the same people who will be presiding over the national election that has been stolen multiple times will be the same people that will be presiding over a referendum. So what do you think will stop them from cheating a referendum? So you're not even supposed to go there. If you are going to be fighting to make sure that the constitution stays as it is, and you have a fighting chance, it's not going to be in the referendum. You're going to have to draw back to the ultimate power that creates sovereignty. And that ultimate power is you and me. That's where it becomes a numbers game. Pane critical mass yema citizens inofana kusvika pa a point yekuti inini I'm doing everything for my nation, and I'm doing it by taking this stance. And that critical mass has not been reached. It has not been reached because we like the element of speaking, we like the element of idealizing, but we never like to put the speeches or the ideas into praxis. Ipapo pane disconnect. Tine a critical mass ekufana participate. So if you are genuine, you have to step up, regardless of where you are. Don't fall for the other thing. A location is going to really affect whether you contribute or not. There's something that you can do, especially if you're in an institution. Whether we England or Zimbabwe, an institution will be able to utilize you. I think Mukoma Gerard, my last issue on this one would be kuti there are definitely ways that Zimbabwe can continue to participate, even when panenge pane a resistance iri kuitwa kuti musasangana, musa organize. Social media has become one of those tools that can be used, but it has to evolve. It has to evolve to a point where it is intentional, in the sense yekuti mukaita a conversation, you are clear that this conversation that we are having, as an example, is not for fun, it's not for entertainment, it is for organizing a particular thing. Then others would say maybe everything has to be held in secret. It is unfortunate. That is not going to be possible, because chinhu chatinoda kuita chinhu chino require participation a significant portion of the nation, and you cannot have a secret with millions of people. Hakuna zvakadaro. You are going to have to come out clear, we are resisting. You're going to have to come out clear that this is how we are resisting. You're going to have to come out clear that this is where we need your participation. It is also unfortunate that some of the times you're going to even have to say, this is where we are meeting, and they will stop you from meeting there. And you will have to force yourself upon them anyway, whether you want us to meet or not. We have been trapped for so long in this world. Isusu, we live at the mercy of ZANU-PF, which we created and gave power to become what it is. We live at its mercy kuti kana tida kusangana totanga tainyorera tsamba kuivhunza kuti zvinoita kuti tisangane. That has to stop. That has to stop. You will have to meet where they don't want you to meet. If they blow up the place, you would have to stand and meet outside. At that point, then you can now talk about kuti power in Bradzuka Kwati. But as long as you're still looking for approvals from your oppressor, then you haven't started. You haven't started. The guys in ZANU will tell you, 1963, they are banned. They are not allowed to exist. They are not institutions that should be there. But did they listen to that? But no, Nkoma Smith vazotudza kuti musasangane, hamubvumirwi as an institution. Tichavanyorera tsamba yekuti tiri kukumbirawo kusangana. Appreciate the time, Koma Gerard. My hope is we stop to take this as entertainment. That's my greatest fear, especially for us that have a comfort mu diaspora. For a lot, it's still an entertainment. It's like a radio station irikumbaya that connects you, that keeps you tethered to your society. That has to stop.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Thank you very much, for that. I do appreciate. Research evaluation. Do you want to come in? Please take the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Ango Gerard. Ndichiri kurangarira Ango Gerard during the time when ZANU-PF conference in Mutare passed a resolution that Ziyambi should go ahead with the 2030 agenda. I celebrated kusvika mukadzi ati sapamba. Ndozvo celebrated izvozvizvi. So I just want to hit her again hard that you see what happened by this particular ZANU-PF resolution was a stepping stone in the revolution of Zimbabwe. So we are now at a point whereby all
Zimbabwe corruption is madness. I remain one blow, Mr. Blow, as I blow the corruption mutilation. For my my generation. Ilele, hear me now. Shout out to Raspi. We have a mafia government in Zimbabwe. We have no rights in Zimbabwe because the police and them soldiers are